We're just about to hit the next one, 2.4 kilometres in length. So 5 riders in total now at the front of the race. Daniel Oss is trying to come back, but you can just see there's a lot of speeds at the front. Van Avermaet is there, Cancellara, Stibar, Valverde, who's ridden well pretty much all day today with his Movistar team. This is the chase group, but we've not seen anything of Oss, who was just about 10-15 seconds behind. Very difficult to come up on your own, but Sagan, where he went on the attack last year, has now been dropped from the front of the race.
19.7 kilometres to go. Yeah, Sagan should have known that section quite well.
The thing is, the pressure is on the €5 million man, so it's very difficult for him to...
I think at the last count, it was something like 22 top 10 finishes since his last win, which was the Slovakian National Championship. And if you count that as a race on the day, it wasn't strictly a win, because he came second, but of course he was the first Slovak rider to finish and won the championship. Colle Pinzutto. Sector number 9, Fabian Cancellara. Sitting at home watching on the telly last week. Oh, well, here he comes again. There is something left in the tank. Peter Sagan, I salute you.
He's fighting.
Oss, though, has left a little bit more on the road, you feel?
It's difficult for Oss now. He was putting big turns down. Cancellara is now starting to struggle on this small incline. Can't really go with the front 4. Stibar looks as if he's on really good form. Valverde's already shown to everybody how well he's going today. So, again, a very difficult time. This sector, 2.4 kilometres. We've got one sector, a 3-star sector after this, 1.1. But Valverde looks exceptionally well. He's looked well all day today. Stibar looks really, really strong as well. Van Avermaet is just kind of hanging in there. And now we see Sepp van Mars starting to struggle a wee bit at the back.
Images that take your breath away in 2 completely different ways. The heroics of the riders on the left-hand side and the dazzling beauty of what you can see on the right-hand side.
We're just getting to the last kind of difficult, the steep parts of this course today. Very difficult. Valverde at home and these type of roads. Stibar just hanging in there with them in second place. Van Avermaet, then Sepp van Mark in the Lotto Jumbo yellow. Just kind of hanging on the back. So we have 4 riders left, but I don't think it's over yet. That was a very steep part, and possibly Cancellara can make it back with Oss. We haven't seen where Peter Sagan is. There's Sagan in between.
Vincenzo Nibali looks as though he's going back to the car. Is it a mechanical problem? Is he tired? We don't know. But of course, if he's doing it on the gravel roads, there's a reason he's doing it.
He's just getting dropped.
Only his 3rd race of the season. I think it's something like 16 race days now. Not even that. So, you know, Dubai's 4 stages, isn't it? So we're talking race day number 11, pardon me, for Vincenzo Nibali, who I repeat did actually want to race. Now, cut off because this is Alejandro Valverde. Valverde is trying to attack those riders who's with him. 28 seconds already to the first chasing group. Valverde is the man at the front. On the right-hand side, you have Greg van Avermaet, the Belgian rider, in the red and black. In the yellow and black and white for Lotto Jumbo, it is Sepp van Marke, also from Belgium, in the white, red and blue of the Czech national champion kit, Zdeněk Štibar. This is a group I think you better get used to seeing on your screens over the next few weeks, because they're the strongest riders at the minute in terms of classics riding. Add Cancellara to that. Daniel Oss is going to be in the odd select group as well, and Bone and the Quick Step boys. You have a super stellar lineup for the next couple of months.
These are 5th and 6th rider from the front of the race. So Peter Sagan is now gone. He almost made it back, but he's now gone. But
10 seconds as well, it's saying now.
Well, this is going to be difficult to bring these riders back. Stibar looks awesome. So does Valverde. Van Avermaet and Van Mark looks as if they're just kind of happy to be there. We still have another sector to come, 1.1 kilometres, and that does come with 13.1 kilometres to go to the finish. Cancellara knows this. He's measuring his effort. He's got a very good rider with him, Daniel Oss, and they too will try to come back to this front group. Only 9 seconds, but it's going to be a difficult ask, but it does look as if Peter Sagan will not be winning this year's Strade Bianche.
Well, he's been second in the last 2 editions. It was Moser, Sagan and Nocentini the podium in 2013. Now for Marca, just getting going. Last year it was Kwiatkowski, Sagan and Valverde. Valverde again looking strong as Oss just waits on the wheel of Fabian Cancellara. That is not Peter Sagan, by the way. Somebody in the graphics department's got that completely wrong. 21 seconds. Back to the peloton, or what's left of it. Orica Green Edge, just one rider on the front. That rider's Magnus Kurt Nielsen. Behind you've got the Tinkoff Saxo riders, 185, who is Christian Jensen.
The thing is, there's 3 from Tinkoff there. They will not know that Peter Sagan has dropped. It's in their best interest now to start riding at the with the Orica Green Edge to get up to Sagan and try and bring him back to the front of the race. But I think the winner is going to come from this group of 4, because if Peter Sagan can't fall on some of the steep climbs, you know, you saw the finish of this this race. It's a very difficult finish and a steep climb to finish off with.
Valverde looks incredibly strong at the minute. And of course, he's the guy with the most racing out the lot at the front as well. "17 kilometres, 2 sectors of gravel road to go." This is the penultimate one already, as we see Lampre trying to put in an attack, and that attack is going to come a little further down. It looks like
Niemiec.
It is Przemysław Niemiec, Polish rider, being followed by one of the Tinkoff riders. And Brian, you were saying that if something had to happen pretty soon for them. Etixx Quick-Step waking up as well, but of course they're not going to surely attack. It all depends if you know what's happening, doesn't it? And that's Julien Vermote, by the way, the Belgian rider.
They won't know what's happening in the front of the race. That's the whole mystery. They know that there's riders down the roads, but they will not know that Peter Sagan has been dropped. So it's in Tinkoff's best interest to ride now, to try and get up to Sagan and try and help him to the front of the race. But again, this finish is so steep and so difficult. I wouldn't think that these 4 riders would want to come to the finish either. So they're off the penultimate Strade Bianche sector, and they will be going to the final one. The final one comes with 13.1 kilometres to the finish, 1.1 kilometre in length. But these riders will not want to come to this finish with Valverde.
Yeah, again, he's probably the strongest rider in terms of race days. He's the best climber out the lot as well. Stybar, he's just one of those riders who can produce just about anything. I don't think you can count him out, but certainly when you think of Van Avermaet and Valmarke, they're going to want to try and get rid of Valverde some way.
Van Avermaet, Van Mark and Stybar are very kind of similar riders. You were right there in saying that Valverde is the better of the climbers, and you would think that if all 4 of these came to the finishing climb, that Valverde would try and go on the climb where Kwiatkowski went last year. But it's short enough, and if you've got a lot of power like Stybar, if he kind of hangs on with Valverde, he could win today, and that would give you know, obviously this team their second win in a row after they won last year with Kwiatkowski. So 15 kilometres to go now, 4 riders in front. It's still not over yet, and we're going to see some great racing in the last 15 kilometres.
Oh, the British expert on Polish cycling, Paweł Gadzawa, has been in touch and says that Niemiec today was working for Pozzato. Unlikely they'll bring them back, of course, but they're going to give it a try. And Pozzato's been a man that has been on decent form early days. He
had showed some good form, and I'd, you know, highlighted his name. But just look at this. I said it's not over. Cancellara and Nos are coming back, and look who's behind him, Rosa. For Astana, he's on an exceptional ride today.
Diego Rosa's had a fantastic ride today for Astana. It's been a difficult week. Again, whatever you think or opine of that situation, if you're a rider or a staff member who's in there, it's a lot of external pressure. Diego Rosa is doing a great job.
But where is Peter Sagan? He should be in and thereabouts, and you know, Rosa has obviously passed him. It does look as if the motorbikes are behind, so 4 riders, then 3. Peter Sagan must be behind, but it's Van Avermaet that decides to have a go. He doesn't want it all coming back together, because if it did come back together, it would be a bit of negative riding. He knows he cannot go to the final climbs with the likes of this final finish with the likes of Valverde and Stybar. So BMC's best
this was the moment of the attack. just coming from the back position out of that four-man group. Here he goes off at the slipstream of Strade Bianche. Looking around, no immediate reaction. So perhaps they're confident that he's going to ride himself into the ground here.
Yeah, there's a lot of worried riders out there, a bit of pressure on them, and
you've got a good poker face, haven't you, in this situation as well?
We did say that they can't wait. There's going to be some attacking. They're going to be attacking all the way into the finish. They know this. You know, all these riders are strong enough to win, and you know, can Cancellara come back? If he went down the roads, it's not over. This race is 14 kilometres still to go to the finish, and again, we don't know who the winner is going to be. Nobody's, nobody's for me favourite yet, because there's still a lot attacking.
BMC racing at the front with Greg van Avermaet. Question marks hanging over him. Last weekend he looked so nervous, so worried when he spoke to the Belgian media at the start of Omloop Het Nieuwsblad. You wondered why on earth he was out there racing. He obviously feels that he doesn't have a case to answer, that he's innocent, and of course until he's suspended, it's within his rights to be out there racing. He is racing, and behind him Strade Bianche is following with Valverde and Van Marke there. Beautiful tall trees that line the route. We're on our way towards Siena. Le Tolfe isn't far away. Just 1.5 kilometres to go until the end of Le Tolfe. Cancellara back on the wheels of Rosa now. Behind, of course, the teammate of this man. That was Daniel Oss. This is Greg van Avermaet, the Belgian. Nearly man last year. He's on to Le Tolfe. 1.1 kilometres. It does have an 18% gradient at one little section. It is not easy at all. It's strategically placed. It's been well found close to Siena before the last little run into that wall into the ancient town, and again could be a launching pad of somebody to have a go if it's 18%.
Just noticed that Strade Bianche there just flicked his elbow there for Valverde to come round, and Valverde just sat in the wheel, so no immediate cohesion from the three behind. So Van Avermaet is in front. Still a tall ask for him to stay away all the way to the finish. It does look as if Oss, Cancellara and Rosa are struggling to come back to the front, but again, you never know.
Another motorbike goes into that gap. Suggests it's, well, goes out of the gap. I was going to say that would suggest it's getting bigger, but I think it's slowly coming back. Rosa looking around here. Now, these guys can't afford to stop working at all, because it will be game over for them. What does Cancellara have in the tank here? The last weekend off, he was actually sat at home watching the finale of Omloop Het Nieuwsblad on the phone to his director sportif, Dirk de Mol, wondering how he was going to take Quick Step apart in the latter classics. He does it every year. He takes a step back, sits on the sofa, never goes to that opening weekend, and just watches his rivals. Here, some of his other rivals are struggling. Sepp Van Marke notably in the yellow and black. He's being left behind now, and Strade Bianche can see that, pushing ahead with Valverde on his wheel.
Yeah, Strade Bianche now accelerating now. He realises that Van Marke, another strong rider, starting to struggle, and Strade Bianche is pulling Van Avermaet back very quickly now. He's got Valverde for company, so Van Marke is off, and it's Van Avermaet at the front of the race now with Strade Bianche and Valverde.
Dirt road sectors done and dusted. Van Avermaet, Strade Bianche and Valverde all out at the front. Van Marke has been dropped. Cancellara is somewhere behind, trying to get back onto this front group alongside Daniel Oss and Diego Rosa. For poor Sepp Van Marke, looks like the tank is empty.
Yeah, he's been kind of yo-yoing for the last couple of climbs. It's going to be very difficult for him to come back. He's probably better looking behind and seeing if Cancellara, Oss and Rosa are behind, because it does look as if Valverde, Strade Bianche and Van Avermaet, if they combine together, they seem to be, especially Van Avermaet and Strade Bianche, both of them look super strong today. Still under 12 kilometres to go to the finish. All the sectors are now finished. Van Avermaet has already had a bit of an attack on his own, now been brought back. So again, this race is not over, and I do not think that Strade Bianche will want to come to the finish with Valverde.
So end of the Sterrato, but plenty to come in this race. Almost a kilometre of super steep climbing to take the riders up to 300 metres to go. No let up, and 16% gradients are going to make the definitive difference in this three-man group unless somebody can pull off a fast one beforehand. Van Avermaet behind, Van Avermaet in front, pardon me, Van Marke behind. 11.6 k's to go. Look behind to see what the situation of the race is. Again, no race radios here. This is a UCI Europe Tour race. This is the leading trio. And these guys can't afford to look at each other either. Valverde, probably the most racing days of anybody in the peloton. He's already had a win over in the Balearic Islands right in the first couple of days of competition for him in Mallorca. It was either the second or the third day he won there. There is Valverde driving up the next to these little inclines. Stybar's the man in the centre, Van Avermaet on the right in the red and black, the Belgian rider. We have Spain, Czech Republic and Belgium represented. Behind another Belgian rider, Sepp van Marke, former winner of Omloop Het Nieuwsblad, long tipped to make his big breakthrough and take a monument one day. He looked really, really strong last weekend. Today, looks as though he's run out of gas. Valverde in conversation then with Stybar. Had they decided to just get on with it and play it out the last climb for now?
It looks that way at the moment. Some communication there. They don't want anybody coming back now. Van Marke is in no man's land. You've got a group just behind him of Cancellara Rosa and Daniel Oss, but again, I don't think Daniel Oss will be helping Cancellara to come back to the front of this race. So we're down to three riders, and that's Valverde, Stybar and Van Avermaet at the front of the race. 10 kilometres to go now, and these three riders, will they take the podium places, or will we see some action later? I still think there's some action still left in this race, so we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out.
Well, Valverde flicking his arm there. Van Avermaet not coming through to do his turn yet. Again, looks behind. Well, it suddenly looks like the game just started again.
Yeah, he's just constantly looking behind Valverde. He doesn't want to be attacked, and just flicks his elbow. And they want to ride. They want to keep the other riders at bay. They don't want anybody to come back up, but they're trying to save a little energy for this this finish, because it's a really difficult finish. So it's going to be a cagey game in the running, because they are all three very punchy riders, all three of them capable of winning here.
Well, if they don't stay together, this man could have a chance of getting back on if there's some sort of recovery. In he goes to the municipality of Siena. This is where the race finishes. Sepp van Marke, the last count, was 14 seconds behind the three leaders. Van Avermaet in the lead, Stybar behind him, Valverde just a few bike lengths behind for the moment. There he is, comes through to take his place, and Siena is in the distance now. Such a special city, such a unique race. This is many riders' favourite, alongside Roubaix, for its unique setup, unique nature. 26 seconds now after a little bit of an acceleration for Marke. Looks like he's losing pace all the time, and it's going to be between these three surely now.
It looks that way. I would say out the three riders that the way it's played out already, that Van Avermaet is happy to try and go on the attack. He's already attacked. I don't know if he's overly confident of coming to this finishing climb with Stybar and Valverde. So I think we might see in the next few kilometres another attack from the man at the front in the black and the red, and that's the Belgian Van Avermaet.
Stybar on the left-hand side takes what remains of his bidon. 58 seconds now to Van Marke, so he's losing ground very, very quickly indeed.
I don't think they're that far away, but they're looking, you know, where
GPS
they are in the road.
Gone mad. Can't happen. We've seen it before plenty of times, haven't we?
Well, they're on the same part of the roads. This is a small incline here. Cancellara still trying to come back, and they're looking behind. Valverde's going, well, we can see them. They're not that far behind now. Van Marke in between Cancellara and the leading group. You just see them in front. That is not 28 seconds, as they were saying. That seems to me about closer to maybe between 10 and 15 seconds.
Well, we did have graphics problems at the start of the race, didn't we? So it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility that the GPS was playing up again.
So it means they can't kind of mess about in the front. These three riders, they've already got rid of these strong riders. They don't want them back. Set Van Mark for Lotto Jumbo, mouth open, trying to make it up to the front three again to make it forward, but they're aware of this. But it's Valverde. He seems to be constantly looking behind, waiting for the attack from some of the riders that are just behind. Just looking a wee bit further down the road, you see the car. Fabio Baldato hitting the side of the car. He wants Os to just sit there with Cancellara. Hopefully Cancellara can bring it back and Os can go over the top, because they've got two cars to play now. So Os is just sitting there, and I think BMC are hoping that Cancellara can bring Os back to the front so he can go on the attack.
Tension here on the way in towards that wall of Santa Caterina. 16% it goes up to. Van Avermaet, as Valverde comes along. Van Avermaet just gestures for everybody to come along and through. This is for Marco. Despite the fact that he's tired, he's leaving everything on the road.
It can only be a matter of about 15 seconds. Tongue out, trying his hardest, looking behind. Maybe he sees Cancellara just behind him. If he decides, does he continue on his own? Does he wait for Cancellara and Os? I think it's kind of now or never, and it's going to be very difficult to come back to the three in front, but it does look as if they're starting to jockey. They're starting to look at each other, and I think that we're going to see another attack from Van Avermaet in the front.
I think he was doing his best Thomas Vauclair impression, because Paris starts tomorrow on Eurosport, remember. 7 kilometres to go of Strade Bianche. Siena in the distance. That big wall that takes you up into the historic city centre, and you can see the difference already. The shadows coming down from the side of the city that is against the sun. All of these riders know this running well. Valverde in particular, who came third last year. It's been a beastly performance by each of these three riders so far. Van Avermaet now coming to the front of the group of three. In the light blue and green, it's Alejandro Valverde, the experienced Spaniard. Always on form, it seems, from February to October. And Zdeněk Štýbar behind in the Czech national champions jersey for Etixx Quick-Step. So Movistar, Etixx Quick-Step and BMC Racing, the teams represented. Spain, Czech Republic and Belgium, the nationalities of the riders. Here is the two-time winner, Fabian Cancellara, as Daniel Os takes it up at the front. Diego Rosa is in front, 6.1 kilometres to go. All of the placings to play for, remember, as well here. And for Diego Rosa, top 10 in this race is a fantastic result.
Fantastic, yeah, great. He's hung in there, dug deep, but does look as if he's going for minor places today. Still have three riders in front of Valverde, Štýbar and Van Avermaet. Is Van Mark from Lotto Jumbo getting any closer? We'll just have to kind of wait and see.
So this is a group of three now, as Diego Rosa's been caught. A little further up the road, you've got this man, Set for Marca. And in terms of Peter Sagan, well, he has disappeared, missing in action on our screens after he went around 15 kilometres or so back.
Well, I think it's going to be a little too much now. Still hanging about 15 seconds, but you can just see that Valverde on the front, Štýbar in second place. Van Avermaet just behind, and what will be going through their minds, because we think it's how can I beat my companions in the breakaway. It's going to be very difficult, because all of the three of them are fairly evenly matched. From what we've seen already today, Valverde had his team on the front, looked very confident, especially in the climb. Štýbar looked really strong. We've already seen an attack by Van Avermaet, so maybe he wasn't overly confident. And I still think he's going to put on another attack. He won't want to come to the finish with the likes of Štýbar and Valverde.
Well, this is the penultimate little climb. Via Fiorentina it is. Goes flat-ish for the next couple of kilometres now. A little bit of a descent. And then coming up to that final kilometre, Santa Caterina. They almost went the wrong way there. Valverde, thankfully, that was all sorted out in terms of being barriered off. Van Mark is going to come up to the same spot, so he isn't far behind at all. You're right, Brian. Oops. Adrenaline pumping. Almost a heart-stopping moment. 17, 18 seconds is probably a more accurate time check.
Yeah, it's just pushing out ever so slightly if the GPS is going up very rapidly, actually.
I think that was the problem last time. I think it got it right the first reading and then went haywire. Well, let it do its job and see if it sticks with us.
The Cancellara group now with Os and Rosa. I think it's game over for them.
Cancellara, of course, well, when did he win? 2008 and 2012 was his last win. Naughty boy Iglinski was second that day and Gatto third. Here's Valverde, Stibar and Van Avermaet.
The thing is, when you're in a group of three and someone else attacks, if the other two kind of look at each other, then you know you can have that slight advantage.
Here's that section of descent I was talking about now. To Siena. The whole city centre, by the way, is a UNESCO Human Heritage Site. Alongside San Gimignano, where we started. Not many bike races can go from UNESCO Heritage Site to UNESCO Heritage Site, can they? It is so, so special.
Seems Valverde and Stibar are content to take this to the final climb. Still think that Van Avermaet is thinking, well, maybe I can try and attack, or if he doesn't feel too good, he's going to save every ounce of energy for this final climb as well.
So Valverde has won already this year. Greg Van Avermaet was very, very good over in the Tour of Qatar. Tour of Qatar, he had third place on stage 2. He was 5th overall in general classification. Os, Rosa and Cancellara, the second group. The minute fighting for places 4, 5 and 6. Could be that one of those riders, probably 5, 6 and 7 if you've got Van Marke in the middle of that.
If he doesn't completely blow up. It's 16 seconds to Van Marke, but it's a lot of time on his own. He'll be expending so much energy. Just see there that Van Avermaet just let Valverde onto the wheel. So getting close to 3 kilometres to go now.
Ethics Quickstep have had a great start to the season in terms of victories, by the way. Alongside Movistar, and Movistar were the top team in the UCI World Tour last year. BMC hoping to pick up some more victories as the weeks go by as well. Stibar this year started off well in the Vuelta a Murcia, had a podium place. That's been his best result so far. General classification just outside the top 10 in the Tour of the Algarve, the Volta Algarve. And that's where we're headed, right inside Piazza del Campo. Such a unique place.
Van Avermaet just missing a couple of turns now.
So if you're Van Avermaet, where do you attack it now? Van Marke is behind, trying to give it all he's got inside the final couple half kilometres and a half.
The thing is with Van Avermaet, either you try and go on the attack. We're getting too close to the climb now, because he would probably want to have, you know, maybe 15, 20 seconds before the climb. It doesn't look as if that's going to happen now. So I think Van Avermaet is just thinking now of saving as much energy as he can for this final climb.
Os, Rosa and Cancellara still behind. 2 kilometres to go at the front in the meantime. And this is the front of the race on the left-hand side. They look around, they look at each other. It's all about that poker face again now. You can have the best poker face in the world, though, but you can still be found out on these 16% ramps, can't you?
A little too late to attack now for any of these riders. So it does look as if all 3 riders will come to this finishing climb together.
Favourite Valverde for you?
Stibar.
Stibar.
I think Stibar.
He has the explosivity, doesn't he?
Yep. Stibar, for me, probably the weakest seems to be Van Avermaet, but so far Valverde looks really, really good. His team have really looked after him, but Stibar looks strong, and he looks hungry for this as well.
1.5 Ks. Well, Stibar looking for that first win of the year. It's been an awful, awful 9 months for him. A horrific injury when people were worried for his life at one stage last August. Came back very quickly and had another injury during the cross season. Missed out on the World Championships. His beloved cross season as well. Coming up to the final kilometre, 1.3 Ks to go. And this is the group that is chasing behind, but we want to see this group, the lead group. The race is going to be won between these three, surely now. Valverde at the front, Stibar behind, and Van Avermaet behind him in third as well. It's the Belgian at the back in the red and black, Czech champion in the middle, and a Spaniard at the front. All the pressure is going to be on the Spaniard here in terms of how they're going to watch him. There is the Flamme Rouge. There's the final kilometre to go marker, and just after it, Santa Catalina. They've got to go through hell before they get to the heavenly site of Siena's Piazza del Campo. And you can hear those who come out the front doors, onto the side of the roads. Come on, is the cry. Constantly looking around here, Valverde. Who's going to be the first to have a little go? Valverde leads them up. Oh, and here he is, set for Marca well.
Hear the horns going. He was getting close. They were looking behind, but
what's he got left though on this?
Nothing,
surely
absolutely nothing. He's almost coming to a halt now, grinding his way up there and just waiting. If I was Valverde, I'd just keep the pressure on, because this is where it's going to suit him the best.
Inside the first set of city walls then. Onto the large paving stones of Santa Catalina. Behind them, too far behind to really affect the race unless these three start getting silly. You've got the chasing group. Valverde still leading them up there. Everybody keeping their powder dry for the moment. Again, another look around. Once more, you get the cheers. And here we go. The road begins to narrow. Through another set of walls they go. 5 hours, 20 minutes in the saddle. And here goes Greg Van Avermaet. Greg Van Avermaet of BMC attacking. All the way up Santa Catalina. It's an explosive dawn out the saddle. And Alejandro Valverde is desiring to follow him as well. Third at the minute. Listen to the roar of the crowd. Third, and here comes Stibar. Stibar is getting there. Stibar on his wheel now. Valverde being left behind in third. Valverde, to me, looks like he might be cracking. Valverde has gone on the 16% ramp of Santa Catalina. Van Avermaet is there. Just behind him you have the Czech champion, and it's now a few hundred metres just in towards the square itself. Here comes Stibar though now.
Bang,
Stibar at the front, and surely he's got him here. Stibar hits the front, and Zdeněk Stibar, who has waited and waited and waited all day, is going to roll into the final couple of 100 metres to take the victory. Stibar, who has ridden fantastically in the last couple of weeks. He's endured a horrid winter, and the Czech champion is going to be victorious in Siena. Zdeněk Stibar for Etixx Quick-Step into 100 metres to go. He waited and followed the attack of Greg Van Avermaet. And Avermaet paying for the effort, and Stibar coming through to punch the sky and take the win. A wonderful win it was as well. Zdeněk Stibar with the win, and the man who a few thought would have been the favourite going into this climb ends up last out of the three. It's another third place for Alejandro Valverde. It's Stibar from Van Avermaet, from Valverde, and for Marca in to take fourth place. Another quality finish on that climb, and it just never disappoints, does it?
Yeah, it was a great finish, an exciting finish. Van Avermaet just actually saving everything he could to that final climb. Valverde just couldn't follow, just didn't have the big power of Van Avermaet and Stibar. But Stibar, this is his type of finish, a fantastic finish, and good effort there by Sepp van Mark there. But the winner there is the Czech champion. Stibar is everybody comes in for the minor places. Sagan there? No, it's not Sagan.
It looked as though it was an Androni rider. Riders from Orica Green Edge coming in as well. That is Esteban Chavez, Colombian rider. All within a minute of the winner. Winner today, though, Zdeněk Stibar, win number 13 of the season for Etixx Quick-Step. So Zdeněk Stibar, absolutely fantastic win. He's a rider that we've all talked about extensively in the last few years, all those World Cyclocross Championships without even having to do the training. Here on the road, he followed this attack, Brian, and talk us through the final few hundred metres.
Well, Van Avermaet had two chances of the win. Either it was attack and gain a gap, or save as much energy as you can and go for it, and he's going for it now. But Valverde was starting to struggle. These are, this is big power now. Valverde has been showing some great form. His team worked magnificently for him. You can just see Stibar gritting his teeth. This gets steeper and steeper and steeper, but Stibar was up to the job. Van Avermaet was absolute. When he got over the top of this, 100%. He couldn't go any faster. Steve Barr still had that little percentage left. Came by him, kept the pressure on, and was a very worthy winner of today's race.
Win number 1 of the season for him, 13th for his team, 8 in his career on the road so far. And I think he enjoyed it. It was an extremely disappointing Saturday 7 days ago for Ethics Quickstep. 3 in the front group, beaten by the magic and power of Ian Stannard. This time, they've got it right. Just shows it's not always about numbers. One up in there, waited and waited, picked his time. He's first into Piazza del Campo in Siena.
I just think Steve Barr really wanted it. You can just see the effort he put in, and you know, he's built for this type of race. You know, a lot of people will be looking at him now for Paris-Roubaix coming up. A very, very strong rider, but again, it's going to be very difficult for Steve Barr because he's got Terpstra and Boonen.
I was going to say, will Boonen and Terpstra be sitting at home and watching the telly and throwing things at it at the minute?
Yeah, so it could be tactical for Ethics in Roubaix coming up, but it just did look as if he was really hungry for that win, and he got it. Good effort by Van Avermaet. He was starting to miss turns, saving as much energy as possible.
Top 10 on the day looked like this. Zdeněk Štýbar winning by 2 seconds from Greg Van Avermaet. The podium completed with Alejandro Valverde's 3rd for a 2nd year in a run. For Marca and Rosa in the top 5. The winner, though, on the day, Zdeněk Štýbar, 8th of his career to date. It's an interesting top 10. Fabio Fellini up there as well. And this is the moment it went once more. Valverde was, of course, forced to follow them in as the top climber out of the 3, but the explosive nature of it all, the big gradient, allowed the guys to attack it. Valverde paying halfway up the climb, Van Avermaet paying when the lactic acid got far too much and he turned the corner, could hardly move his legs, and this is where Štýbar, who had just saved enough, managed to finish off with a win. Strade Bianche done then for another year. A very, very special time of the year coming up, though, and it's Paris tomorrow, 16:45 Central European time. That's on Eurosport International. If you're watching on British Eurosport, remember to check your schedules, because I'm aware that it may be a little different. And the prologue is MAUREPAS, 6.7 kilometers. And it's not just cycling in terms of action that's coming up. We also have Eurosport cycling ambassador Greg LeMond on. And Greg LeMond will be our guide to the cycling world, starting again on Monday. He'll meet the track superstar Chris Hoy, and will also take the bike on to take up and have a look at Milan-San Remo. Join us Monday, March the 9th, 1600 Central European time. Check your schedules if you're watching on British Eurosport. So from Greg LeMond taking on Milan-San Remo to the winner on the day. Van Avermaet beaten, Valverde broken, all by the man who went on to attack in the Czech national champions jersey. Zdeněk Štýbar, top man on the day. A winner on the home of cycling on Eurosport. Paris-Nice, Tirreno Adriatico and Greg LeMond all to come in the next week and a half or so. I really hope you'll join us. For now, though, from Brian Smith, me, Rob Hatch, and all of the team, it's been a pleasure to talk you through the race. Another win for Ethics Quickstep. See you soon.